Hey friends, it's Becky here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new quite exciting video, which I hope you will enjoy it, but I'm a little bit nervous, but I know it will be fine. But today I'm actually trying to do my first attempt in original tag. Yes, if you have been watching me for at least a little while, you know that I really do enjoy doing tag videos, and I thought that maybe eventually I would create one of my own as well, but I did not think it would be this soon. However, if you remember, in my latest wrap-up video I mentioned the book called The Count of Monte Cristo, which comes from the pen of my favorite author, Alexandre Dumas. And as I finished reading this book, I also did a little research again on this author and also picked up my most favorite book of all time, Three Musketeers. And when I was browsing the book, I suddenly had some sort of questions and ideas in my head, and I just written them down on the paper, and suddenly I had this little tag created, and I just thought it would be fun and hopefully interesting to send it out there and see if there is anyone else who would like to participate. So yes, what I would like to do with this tag is also to spread little word about this author and hopefully make more people interested in his work, and especially the Three Musketeers, which is my most favorite book of all time, and that's also why I decided to call this tag very simply, and that is Three Musketeers Book Tag. So I also try to do the questions in a way that is not necessary for you to know much of his life or read the Three Musketeers in advance, but you can still participate and answer these questions. So I hope that if you are interested, you will do this, because I would love to see your answers. So yes, without further ado, I will just jump into the questions straight away, which I have 11 of them, and I hope you will enjoy it. So the question number 1 says, Alexandre Dumas was born in the 19th century. Do you have a favorite time period to read about? If yes, what do you like about it? So I would say that I do not have one period which I have like the most favorite, but I do enjoy reading historical fiction, and I do like the books set for example in Bronte sisters' time and Jane Austen times, because I really do like to know more about the time period and also the customs and tradition. And to be honest, I do like the way how men and women used to behave towards each other, and men being sort of like gentlemen, and I like that fashion style which you also seen in many film adaptations, but I just really like the atmosphere of that time period. But I also do love, for example, books by Francis Scott Fitzgerald set in 20s and 30s, like Great Gatsby, and I just love this era of jazz and just everything be very exciting, and also the fashion from all those movies as well. I love that one. So probably these two. Okay, Alexandre Dumas was born in France. Is there a French author whose book you would recommend? And here I'm very interested, because I promised myself that during the next year in 2022 I would like to read new authors which I have not read before, and I would also like to explore authors from different countries. And I must say that when it comes to French literature, there is not much which I read. I can only recommend here for myself, for example, Victor Hugo and Les Miserables, but other than that I do not know many of current French authors. So if you do have any recommendations, please let me and let us everyone know. Okay, question number 3. Alexandre Dumas often based his novels on real events and historical figures. Is there a person from the past, let it be politicians or kings, queens or actors or artists, simply anyone, who would you like to meet? So for me, because I'm really not into politics, I think I would go with some artists, and recently I finished a book called The Queens of Animation, which is absolutely fascinating story about the first women who worked as animators in Walt Disney Studios, and it's a brilliant book, and honestly I would love to speak with these women, because just reading about their lives and also the profession and how it was to be the only woman in the office, or well, the whole company, which was created from thousands and later on from hundreds of men, and just go through all those things these women had to go through. It was really fascinating read, and I would love to speak with these women. So that was question number 3, and now question number 4. Yes, Alexandre Dumas wrote some pretty chunky books. For example, The Count of Monte Cristo is over 1000 pages long, as opposed to his son Alexandre Dumas Jr., whose only book, The Lady of the Camellias, is less than 180 pages. What is the longest and shortest book you read? And I know that this question appeared in couple tags before, but I'm always interested in this one, because we still read new books and there is always something new you can say. And for me, for example, the longest book I would say would be The Count of Monte Cristo, but also The Empire of the Vampire, which I finished quite recently, and I do not recall how many pages was it, because I had it as audiobook, but it was pretty chunky book. And then the shortest one would be the one which I name forgot, but I will have a picture here, and it's actually from French author and it's very lovely historical fiction again, and it's less than 100 pages long. So these two books definitely for me. Okay, question number 5. I don't think there is a video in which I would not mention my favorite book, The Three Musketeers. There we go. So I would like to know, is there a book you want everyone to know and hear about? And it can be either your most favorite book of all time or maybe some recent reads which you had not chance to speak about yet but you want everyone to know about. So for me, Three Musketeers, and now your turn. Question number 6. One of the most famous quotes in literature, one for all for one, come from the pen of Alexandre Dumas. Do you keep a track of your favorite quotes when reading? Do you have at least one quote you would like to share, and if yes, from which book is it? So for me, I do like to keep track on my readings, and this is my first reading journal. I started in March this year. I also have the first video when I was creating this reading journal, but I was keeping track of my favorite quotes and notes and favorite paragraphs since I was a young girl because I wanted to be a writer, so I always kept notes on everything I was reading. But here in this reading journal I have one spread which I dedicated to quotes, actually, this one. And I always write there some sentence or few sentences from the book I really enjoy. And it's very difficult for me to share just one quote because I think that many times you need to know at least a little bit about the story, so the quote is more like meaningful to you. But then there is one by Victor Hugo, actually, and I like it very much, and it says, "What makes night within us may leave stars." It's a very simple sentence, but really meaningful one. I really do like that one. Okay, question number 7. The Three Musketeers is a book of strong friendship and allegiance. Do you have a favorite fictional friendship? And here I'm very interested because whenever I was thinking about some sort of fictional friendship, the Three Musketeers would pop into my head. But other than this book, I cannot really recall some significant friendship, although I'm sure I read many books about friends and friendship, but just let me know please, because it always just comes to me Three Musketeers, but I cannot recall any other one right now, so let me know please. Okay, question number 8. The Three Musketeers is a story with strong female characters who are brave, fearless, yet loving and gentle. However, some of them prove to be true evil. Do you have a favorite female fictional character? Who is it and why? And here I would say my lovely Jane Eyre, because Jane Eyre is also one of my favorite books and I love that character. It's the first, I also mentioned this a couple times before, but when I read Jane Eyre for the first time when I was really young, it was the first time in my life when I felt like I could identify with the character, and I found many similarities between Jane Eyre and myself, so definitely Jane Eyre. There is more than 50 film adaptations of Three Musketeers. Is there a film adaptation that you enjoy more than the actual book? And here it doesn't have to be necessarily anything from Alexandre Dumas stories, but it can be any film adaptation of any books you like. So for me here I would say that I really do enjoy for example, Stardust, which I mentioned a couple times before, that I loved the film, but I did not enjoy the book that much. But then also, for example, I'm the person who really enjoy film adaptations of Jane Austen books, sometimes a little bit more than the actual book, or it's easier for me to read the book after I watch the film. And honestly, nothing beats 2005 Joe's Bride, Pride and Prejudice film adaptation. I mean, that's the best film and best adaptation ever, from the costumes and setting and cinematography and actors and lighting, and it's just the best, so definitely this one for me. Right, question number 10. I own 3 different editions of Three Musketeers. Oh, I have them here. The first one, this lovely beautiful pink one with the comic on the top, which I love very much. Then I have this old one, which is also beautiful, which belonged first to my father, and inside you have illustrations like this, for example, which I really love. And then the first book is this one, in which I'm not a huge fan of the cover, but I really wanted to have this book in English, so I purchased this one before I got the pink one. So I have these 3 books, and my question for you is there a book you own more than one edition of? So please let me know. And finally, the last question, number 11. Have you read Three Musketeers or any other books by Alexandre Dumas, and if yes, which ones? So for me, I would say obviously Three Musketeers, then The Count of Monte Cristo. I also really enjoyed The Man in the Iron Mask, which was also a great film adaptation with Richard Chamberlain, and there were quite a lot of adaptation, but I think that this one is really good. Then for example, Black Tulip, and then The Lady of Montsoreau, which I never know how to pronounce, but these are one of my favorite books. And also, as mentioned here between the questions, Alexandre Dumas Jr. also written his own book, which was the only novel he wrote, and it's called The Lady of the Camellias, and it's very, very lovely book, so I also recommend you to read that one. But those are all the questions, 11 questions, and then there is the final 12th prompt, which says finally tag some friends to do this tag. So I'm gonna tag some of my booktube friends. I really wished I could tag everyone, but I already felt weird and embarrassed to tag so many people to do my own tag, so I'm just gonna mention a couple of them. But anyone else who find this tag at least a little bit interesting, if you give it a go, it would really mean a lot to me, and I would love to see your answers. So for now, I'm gonna tag Shelley Swearingen, Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, Michelle Lexi, Gem of Books, Red Dot Reads, Mariana Maas Books, The Personal Cozy Project, Bookish Gems, Mika's Chamber, Jessie the Sleeping Koala, Miss Reads a Lot, and I think I forgot someone. Rosie Cockshot. Yes, sorry, Rosie Cockshot. So you, my lovely friends and fellow booktubers, if you would like to give this tag a go, I would love to see it. And if there is anyone else who would like as well, please do so. I would be really happy from that. So that's it. Right, need to calm down a bit. But as I said, thank you very, very much for watching this until this point, for joining me. Also, thank you very much for your comments you write, because I really love to speak with you in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me over on Instagram. I have the link in the description down below, and also here on the screen you could see it. And I just hope that you enjoyed it. Please give this a go if you like the tag, and I will see you with another video very soon. Take care, bye!